Okay, I'm a little nervous. Hi,
What
honey.
are you nervous about the live stream or about the wedding?
I'm not really nervous about the wedding. I mean, I'm nervous about the live stream because I don't know what you're gonna say.
Well, I promise to be nice. I'm not gonna do pull out any surprises on you.
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, I want it to be an authentic account. I mean, it's not like staged or anything.
Yeah, I know. Although you did post some questions ahead of time that we can deal with.
Yeah.
One of which is if I'm nervous about the wedding.
Are you?
So that's kind of a funny question to ask. I'm nervous about the wedding. I'm not nervous about getting married. Like the wedding is a big event. We're going to have nearly 100 people. We've got vendors to coordinate. We've got a venue. We've got a cake. We've got caterers. We've got games that are going to be there for folks to play. It's a lot to go on. Like it's a major event production. So I'm nervous about that aspect of it, like getting the event to go off successfully.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about getting married. I'm not nervous about that
Why not?
because we've been on the path towards this type of joining for years now. And really, all this is to me is like a big public declaration of, yeah, I want to be with you for the rest of my life.
Mm. I'm so lucky.
I think I'm lucky.
Um. Well. Well. Okay. Why that? Why not then just stay dating instead of why even get married then? If we've been on the path anyway, what's why to marry?
I mean, partly it's just to like celebrate and recognize that this is where we're at. Like we are this certain of it. Partly I think it's, honestly for the families in some way. Like I think your family is excited to see you get married. My family is excited to see me get remarried. So I don't know. Like why do you want to get married?
Well, my daughter wants me to get married to you.
She does. I
Um,
think she was the one who actually decided it was time for me to propose.
and I think my parents would be really happy to know that I was taken care of, for the rest of my life. But I guess the reason that I never think of marriage because as a wedding, because as a producer, a wedding to me is a 1 day production. It's like producing a video. Like we
Hmm.
do video production all the time. And I'm like, well, okay, I can produce a day of romance, but a marriage is a daily activity of showing up for a person and loving them. And we already do that. And I'm committed to that. I'm committed to the day in, day out role of being partners with you. So I guess I wouldn't have initiated a wedding because to me it's a 1 day production. A lot of people put a lot of weight on it, but for me, it's an event. It's basically an event.
Yeah, it's an event. It's a big celebration, but I don't really expect it to change our day to day lives.
Hmm.
You know.
Well, okay, I have to bridge the question because recently someone got mad at me and made some ad hominem attacks at me, which are attacks on my character. And like, I guess the exact critique was that I'm a psychopath on meds because I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I'm just wondering why are you afraid to marry me because of that, or like what does that inhibit the equation, and why not?
No, that doesn't enter into the equation. That doesn't frighten me, that doesn't really change anything to me, you know? Like, you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. That's a, biological chemical imbalance in your brain. You take medication to correct that. I'm on medication to correct several biological imbalances in me. Seems kind of silly for me to be like, oh well, that's a deal breaker when I'm in the same situation. It's just a different condition. For me, it's anxiety and depression and high cholesterol. Got genetically high cholesterol. Doesn't matter what I eat, I've got high cholesterol. So I take medication to reduce my cholesterol.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the people who critique me, I think they believe that I am truly like crazy in the detrimental negative sense, and it doesn't seem that I'm not fishing for compliments, but it just doesn't seem like that's your experience of me and on the daily.
That has not been my experience with you. I met you after you had gotten on medication, and you were you're crazy, but in the like fun and quirky kind of way, has been my experience with you. I've heard stories of you in the past, and yeah, you sound like you were pretty far out there at times, but as you and I have examined those over time, it really just sounds to me like most of them were miscommunications between you and the people around you. You were definitely perceiving reality your own way, and you were describing it using words that worked for you, and they took that to mean something completely different, as if you were totally and thoroughly disconnected from reality. And as we like talked through and understood the the way that you were meaning those words, which wasn't wrong. It's not like you were like I was feebleizing. No, like you were hallucinating, but your hallucinations were totally not what people thought it was. It's not like you were completely seeing things that weren't there. You were just reading more meaning into the things that you were seeing.
Mm.
And
Well,
so that doesn't bother me. That's a perceptive and creative way of looking at things that honestly has been a lot of fun to explore with you. Like when you have those moments where you're like, okay, so this car drove by and its license plate said boo, and I thought it was a ghost saying something to me. That's kind of cool. That's fun. It's not like you're really crazy. It's just a quirky way of looking at that particular situation. That doesn't bother me.
I could speak to the same in you. Like someone could say, "Are you sure you want to marry Shane, even though he's depressive?" And the way I look at it is, and we'll get to this a little bit later, that our composite chart is so good. And in some ways, we are an arranged marriage, in as much as we choose to stay together because of the composite chart and synastry. It literally, the composite chart is so good that it fixes our natal problems. I mean, so I think it's as in, are you depressed? Well, not with me, because I'm quirky enough to keep you on your toes, and you have a triple Earth chart, so you're a Virgo, Virgo, Capricorn. Which one of the dangers of triple Earth is it can get kind of depressive and gloomy at times because of inertia or lack of movement. But my chart's kind of quick and moving enough that it kind of cures your depression. And I would say that your earthiness and your groundedness cures my schizophrenia in a lot of ways. And so I think we could say that in some ways those maladies are resolved in this union.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Patrick's saying is a wedding's a lot more than a day's worth of production. That's true. It's like a year's worth of production. I mean, Patrick's here.
Oh, I was on the wrong tab. I didn't realize there was anybody watching. Hi, folks.
Yeah, Patrick's here, and he's. I mean, a wedding is it's like a year long production, and in that way, it's kind of good for a couple because it is a year long project that you get to do together. And so we've gotten to make all these choices about cakes and dresses and things like that. But we do that stuff for video production when we make clown videos. We're always making decisions about outfits, and so I think we had a lot of practice actually.
Yeah, that is true, and that has helped with a lot of like the decision making process. Like the videographer wanted lots of examples of like, what do you like? What do you like? What are you looking for me to do? And we were able to use some of the terminology that we've used from setting up video, and also give him sample videos that we've made for him to look at and see like where we're going.
How do you feel about because another critique that we get is that we're in show business and that's somehow wrong. Some people are really against the idea of showing yourself online, or but you and I are in business together as a show. So I'm curious how you feel about the show business part of our lives and if that's something that you consent to, or is that out of your scope but you do it because you love me, or how do you feel about that?
It's a little of both, honestly. Um, it I'm not a very public or outgoing person by default. Like I'm kind of shy. So showing our business is a little unnatural and uncomfortable for me, but it's also good to be challenged on things and push ourselves to grow. And you were very clear when we first got together that you were kind of a big deal online. And certainly compared to me, yeah, you've got a lot of people who are constantly following and engaging with you online and in person. Like when we go to astrology conferences, you're kind of a little center of attention that people hang out around.
That's
And that's
embarrassing.
what's that?
I'm embarrassed.
Well, it's true. And that was a little different for me. Like I had never really had someone that popular that I was dating or like even really hanging out with that regularly. And so you you warned me that that was the case and set the clear expectation that you do want me to be a part of showing our business online. And so I try to be good about that and try to show up to uh, participate with you online. And mostly, I think what I do is I get to come to your page and share sappy love songs or funny memes. And that I'm comfortable with. It's fun. But I also like participating in the discussions and going to classes and going to conferences with you. Like, it's been a fun experience, and I've learned a lot. Like, I knew nothing of astrology when we started dating. And now I feel like I'm a, semi competent amateur astrologer.
That was so meaningful to me that you learned to read transits for per the request of me. I think I always thought maybe I could be with a non-astrologer, but the way that my natal chart is with three squares, and and the level at which I struggle personally. I just and you have a T square, and I just couldn't do it alone. I couldn't watch the transits for both of us. I couldn't. And so what's your commentary about you learning astrology for this equation? Was that a laborious thing, or was that something? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I'd say it was a labor of love. I mean, you really took on the job of teaching me astrology basically one on one. Like, you started teaching master classes on a Saturday to teach me. And while other people would occasionally show up, and sometimes we had a good run of like, four or five people showing up for, a couple months in a row, you really started that for me, which, I mean, that was very sweet of you. I mean, that was a, dedication to helping me learn one of the things that you're very passionate about. And like astrology was something that was always on the like outskirts or fringes of a lot of the like philosophies or spirituality that I had studied. So it was something I had a passing experience with, but no real knowledge of. And so learning more about that was fun. I liked learning it. And then, like being able to watch transits and learn how to remediate them, I learned a lot about myself and was able to improve my own life through doing that. So it probably had one of the more impactful changes in my life of like anything that I've gone through. Like I've been in therapy for years at a time to get through something, and astrology was just as powerful and just as helpful in less time, I would say. But it's definitely an ongoing process. And it's also helped me to understand and deal with you and, our daughter and the people in our lives. Like it's just another lens at how to look at things that has been very helpful.
People probably think it's unequal because I keep asking you questions. They probably feel like some people seem to think that you're like, how do I put
I'm your
this?
sub.
Yeah, like I'm alpha and you're submissive. What would you say to that?
Um, we're both pretty like controlling in our own ways. I do like to be of service and I do like to help. So I'm more than happy to let you take the lead on things. And particularly when it comes to like large public productions or putting on videos, that's your passion and you've got a lot more experience at it. So yeah, I let you take the lead on that. I don't have a problem with that. But there are other things where I take the lead, like cooking or planning things around the house. I guess I'm kind of a little more domestic than you are.
Yeah. You take the lead on all fixing of things and well, like on the marriage, you really took the lead on. We kind of agreed that because Saturn was going through your seventh house, opposing your Sun in Virgo, that you would do a lot of the marriage arrangements because that was your transit essentially. I've got Saturn going through the 10th right now, which is like career consideration. Um, so okay, let's talk about the question that a lot of people really don't seem to understand. Let's talk about the polyamory thing, about the multiple marriages that I have. Like I keep getting married to people all month, and I'm in love with several people. So what do you think about that piece of the equation?
Uh, I think it's good fun when people get so upset about it because it just makes me laugh. Um, it doesn't bother me. Like in my youth, I was polyamorous. I've known people who are polyamorous. Some of my best friends are polyamorous. I've seen it work. I've seen it fail. I've seen it cause problems. I've seen it cause drama. In our case, the drama it causes is like humorous drama, not problematic drama. Like you're certainly playing it up with the start all marries everything right now. And I think that's funny. And if there are people who are getting upset about it, I think it's kind of funny that they're getting upset because it's kind of like they're missing the joke, right?
Hmm.
We're old. We've had people in our lives for years. There are friends that are family. We love them to like it's polyamory. Like polyamory just means many loves. It doesn't mean many sex. You can absolutely love people without having sexual relations with them. And I think that's what a lot of people get confused about. And they think that there's some sort of like sexuality going on or that there's some sort of like cheating. or like backstabbing or something like that, whether it's sexual or even emotional, you know? But just because we have emotional connections with other people doesn't mean that we don't have good emotional connections together, you know? Sometimes, like, my friends back in Texas help me process things in ways that you can't because different backgrounds, different experience, different shared experience. They went through some things with me that you didn't, fortunately. You know, they've seen me at my worst, and you helped me avoid getting back to that state. So, yeah, it doesn't bother me that you have many people that you love because I have many people that I love. But at the end of the day, I know who I'm going home with, and I know who you're going home with, and it's our home.
Yeah, I do think people need to understand that you're kind of a polyamorous pagan Viking yourself. I mean, it's not just that I'm forcing like sometimes we joke that Stardal has all these marriages and you're only allowed to have one to me because that's like the classic polyamorous like error that people make is they won't let their partner date people too. But but that's just I don't know, like all jokes aside, okay, one of the hardest ones for people to understand is my love of Billy Anderson. Because Billy and I dated twice, and we tried to. I thought I was going to marry Billy. Dated, failed, broke up. He married someone else. They got divorced. We tried again. That didn't work. We broke up again. Then we separated for a year or so as friends, and then he came back into my life. I think after you and I were together, but like people are very afraid that he and I are going to cheat or that he's going to take me away from you. And you're the only person I've ever met who would just let me have Billy in my life despite the deep love that he and I have. Phil. So like why does that relationship not challenge you?
I don't know how to put it into words, honestly. It's it's a feeling, you know, like I met Billy, I got to know him. I like Billy. I consider Billy a friend. And I've seen the two of you together. And you while you definitely have a close, tight bond and a lot of shared experience and history, you're friends. You love each other like friends. And I mean, maybe there's a little bit of like sexual tension there because of the past, but I've never gotten the feeling or sense that either of you want to act on that. I've never gotten the feeling that Billy is jealous of me or angry that I'm in your life. Rather, he seems happy for us. Like he seems like he, for lack of a better word, approves. He like the two of us together have made you better, and he sees that and he likes that. Just like the two of us together has made me better, and my friends and family see that and like that too. You know, like we regularly hang out with my ex-wife who I was with for 20 years. She comes to our monthly barbecues. We've gotten together for game nights. She thinks that you and I are great. She sees me happy and healthy in a way that she hasn't seen for literally decades.
Mhm.
But do you feel like I'm going to leave you and try to get back together with her?
No, you and I are so tight and so good. Like I don't really fear anything. Like you and I are just we get along famously. Honestly, like we've had what like 3 fights in 3 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and neither of us really has a really high like we have a very low threshold for conflict between ourselves. Like we don't neither of us enjoy a conflicted state between ourselves. So we now we do a lot of whaling. If we see a hard transit approaching, we talk about it at our nightly meeting and we say Mars is coming up to square our Uranus is together what's our approach for that transit? What are we going to do if we have a conflict? You know, so and so we waylay a lot of conflicts.
And one of the things that we do before those hard transits happen a lot now is before it hits, we both look at each other and say, I don't want to fight with you on this transit.
Yeah.
And then we know that, like, if a fight or an argument happens, we're like, aha, it's the transit. This is stupid.
Yeah. Well, and another thing we do is if we do not see something eye to eye, we hash it out until we find a win-win. Like we don't even really compromise. It's like it's win-win or no deal. Like we just find a win-win, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
do you have any questions?
So, one of the things that I know you've been like very anti marriage on for a long time is the sharing of property. So, a lot of times when people get married, suddenly property is all joint property, finances are shared, everything like that. And you don't want to do that, which I'm fine with. We're not planning on actually doing that piece of it. But how did you overcome that aversion to the point where you were agreed to marry me?
Well, so part of this for the astrologers, I have Mars in the second house square the sun, and I also have Jupiter in the second house square Venus. And it's like I have extreme financial trauma from past relationships where I was mooched off of. Because my chart is a heavy hitter financially. It does actually make money, and um, it has been taken advantage of in that way. Other ways are that I have a huge independent streak, and so if a man tries to, or a person tries to buy me things, I feel that I used to say to you, I was like, you'd offer to buy me dinner, and I'd say, well, I'd rather buy my own dinner so I can behave authentically on my transit later. I never know what I'm going to feel like. I basically wanted to have the right to be myself. I didn't want to be purchased, basically. And so, one of the ways that we've come to an agreement is we do everything half and half. We each pay our own dinners, we pay for our own meals. um, I buy you beverages during the day. You buy me a beverage at night. Like we pretty much. I wouldn't allow you to pay for me as a form of love because I also didn't want you to feel like you had to support me. Like like I felt like there was this thing of like I'll buy you dinner so that you date me, and I was like I'll buy my own dinner and then I'll still date you because you're cute and I love you. Like or because you're brilliant and I love you. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't want you to have to buy my love. Like I really didn't. And so the fact that we've successfully maintained a half and half approach on everything, including our kid, my kid, our kid, um, that's made me trust you that you can hang at on your side and you can let me hang on my side.
Absolutely. And it took some getting used to. Like, when I was dating before you, there were definitely women where it was like I did have to spend money to buy their love, basically. So it was a bit of a change to get used to that with you.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that keeps our relationship good is the notebook. Do you want to talk about the notebook and what that is?
Sure. So this actually kind of goes back to the whole schizophrenia question because you did have a brief period where you were getting overstimulated by everything going on in life. And you started having what we've come to call schizophrenic moments, where you were seeing very deeply into things and getting a little like conspiratorial or paranoid about stuff. And what we agreed to at that point was when you encountered something like that during your day, like at your day job, or even if you were just going around town, you would write it down in a notebook. And then at the end of the day, we'd get together and we would go through everything you wrote down in your notebook and process it together. and see if the aliens were really trying to contact you, or if maybe you just were putting together a lot of stimuli that was coming at you at that moment and thought maybe it's aliens. And so that's how it started, was us going through with that. And it very quickly seemed to help you calm down and kind of get out of that like overstimulated thinking. You were still definitely highly stimulated, but it wasn't getting to the point where it was overwhelming you, because we were able to delay that and then process everything together at the end of the day. And when it got to the point where you didn't really need to do that anymore, you didn't need to write stuff down, we were both like, well, shit, now what? We like doing this notebook at the end of the day. We got to find something else to fill this notebook with. And I think it was you who came up with the analogy that I'm in charge of cooking up dinner so that we have food to eat. You will be in charge of cooking up the conversation that we can have. And so you started writing things down in the notebook from whatever book you were reading. Like when, everybody knows Andy reads tons of books. You read books on like production, on making videos, on how to have a social media presence, all sorts of stuff. And as you're reading through those, you'd write down topics, and then we would talk about that at the end of the day. And that was fun because it's like I get the Reader's Digest version of the book, and we get to go through a little worksheet of it. So I get to learn stuff from that too. And that's been really helpful. Like, we've read so many books that have wound up helping me in my day job as a team lead of a software engineering team. Just like things about production, things about like interacting with multiple people, things about building community, like things about handling conflict, things about handling change. There's things that you know everybody's going to face in some way or another. So it's really cool that I get to piggyback on the time that you spend reading and learn from that. So that's the notebook, and it's one of the favorite parts of the day. Like, I look forward to it every day.
Yeah, we do it from 10:30 to 11:30 every night religiously. We do the notebook. Yeah. Sometimes we draw tarot cards, sometimes we draw runes, like if we have a situation where we kind of need some divine, a divine random dice roll, we do pull cards on stuff. I mean, we have decks of cards with questions on them. We do all there's a lot of ways that we do the content creation of the notebook. But I guess I'm starting to understand marriage more because you wrote the marriage ceremony, and in it you really included that it was our life paths coming together that is a marriage, and so it made sense to me more. It's making more sense to me, the marriage thing of like we're two souls coming together to work together in this lifetime. And then I was watching this sermon, and he was talking about the marriage as a covenant, which is like a he called them or essential collaborator. They're your essential collaborator. So
I like
that
that
makes
term.
a lot of sense to me of us collaborating together and life. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Moira Press as a collaboration? Because you wrote that into the vows. Like, how do you feel about the Moira Press as our collaborator? Or we also have the collaboration of taking care of our daughter um, and the cats.
Yeah, and I mean, it has been one of the most fulfilling parts of my life to get to step into the role of being a stepfather and getting to have a child. Even though she was a teenager when we met, so I didn't get a lot of the younger years, which I am sad to have missed out on that. But it's been so amazing and rewarding to get to know her and build a relationship with her and be able to start parenting her, you know and I
You're
was
such a good dad, by the way. Sorry.
what's that?
You're such a good dad, by the way.
Thank you. I try. And it's yeah, I mean, it's just been awesome. Like, I absolutely love it. It makes me so happy, like whenever she comes to me with a problem where she wants some advice, it just makes me happy. I love it. It's so fun. Well, okay, it's really fun that she's having problems, but like it just makes me feel good to like be able to help in that way. Um, the cats, those are mostly me. Mostly, I just ask you to stay out of the way and keep Merlin occupied. But you like cats, and that's good because if you didn't, this would never work.
That's true.
Um, yeah, for the Moira Press, it's kind of funny because you are so strongly about like this is our business, and I'm like, no, this is your business. I'm just an employee who's helping you out. Like you're the CEO. This is really you. You founded this. You built it. I'm just here to help with it. And it's been fun because I'm more technologically inclined than you are. So one of the things that I've been able to help with that is building the website or helping guide things like better ways to use YouTube or Facebook in ways that I know about that you didn't. Like helping tag YouTube videos so that it got better search engine results type of stuff. And then, of course, you went and read a YouTube book and learned a lot more than me. So,
Readers are leaders, baby.
our leaders. But yeah, it's it is a large part of your life. It's one of your two jobs, and so it's something that you do uh, put effort and work into on a regular basis. There are challenges that arise. There's conflicts that need to be dealt with. There's periods where things seem to not be uh, not be going so well, or like things are slowed down. How can we inject new life into this? In some cases, it's things like what classes should we teach? Should we teach classes? Should we record things? Should we live stream everything? Decisions like that are things that we talk through, that we evaluate based off of what you've read in books and what we've discussed with that a lot of the time. And I love helping my partner with business and money. And I think a lot of that's in my chart. I'm a Capricorn moon and my second house is Libra.
It's so true. I love doing the more press with you. It's like you fill in all the gaps that I can't do, and I actually largely quit more press for a few years because I didn't have a lot of facets that we needed. We needed just different things, and we didn't have it. So thank you for that. I think we would be remiss to not talk about our composite chart and our synastry, because in the three fights we have had in 3 years, there was one fight where we talked about breaking up, and I, it was only for like an hour, but in that, my response to that was, it is a bad idea for us to break up because there is no better math than this composite chart. Like, I've seen thousands of composite charts, and I don't know that I've ever seen one better than this. And so, how much of you committing to the marriage is because of the calculations astrologically? I mean, for me, it's a lot of it because I literally know I'm not going to find a better calculation than this.
I mean, yeah, a large part of it. I didn't know the astrology beforehand, so I wasn't like when I think it was something like our third or fourth date. You were like, "We've got a really great composite chart. We're like probably going to be together forever." And
For
I was
everyone
like,
who's listening, we have a Sun Pluto conjunction in Libra trine the moon. We have a Venus sextile Mars, and we have a Mercury square Jupiter is like our only square.
And I was like, okay, cool. Crazy astrology chick thinks we're going to be together forever. That's awesome. But as I learned astrology and got to understand more about it, I was like, okay, I can see the beauty in that. But more importantly, we've gotten to live it for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little over. And like I have seen the beauty of how our charts fit together. Like our composite chart is great, but our synastry is also great because when you're having a hard time, I'm in a very caretaking, caregiving mood. I'm just like, hey, everything's great with me. How can I make everything great with you? And then the opposite happens. When I'm having a hard time, you're just in like, I'm just going to be here to support you and scratch your back and tell you you're doing a great job, honey. And it's very rare that we hit like a conflicting type of situation with our synastry. We do have a lot of our outer planets in similar positions because we are just 1 month apart. So transiting stuff tends to hit us at the same time, but that's why we talk about it at the notebook and prepare for it.
Yeah, so people know the calculation. My Sun square Mars is one of the hard parts about my chart because I get like anger issues. And when I have transits to my Sun square Mars, they hit Shane's Sun in Virgo. And so he's very helpful. Like, or I'll be usually pushing hard in business stuff. And he's like, how can I help you? What do you need? Like, so that's what we have there. And then he has a Moon Mars Pluto T square at 14 degrees. And when he's in that mood, it hits my Pisces moon. And so I'm always like, God will provide and I'll pray for you. And like, I'm always like, and playing my piano for you. And like, when you're having a hard time, I definitely emotionally care for you in those T squares. But our charts do not exacerbate. We both have these intense Mars configurations, meaning that we're equally fierce. That's why when people think that you're below me or you're subjugate to me, because you have that double Virgo temperament, which can be kind of servile seeming, but you're like a service Viking. You're like very service oriented, but it's kind of like the don't like mess with me and find out kind of guy. Like I would never mess with Shane. Like honestly, he's got a Moon Mars Pluto T square. You do the math. Like I am not messing with Shane. Like I respect you. I am always nice to you. I mean, I think I'm nice to you, but I
You're very nice to me. And I've got a very loose Mars Jupiter conjunction in Cancer. So I can be very like protective mama bear type.
mm, yeah.
Like if you hurt the people I love, I can Hulk out pretty fast.
Yeah, Patrick's making the comment that quiet does not equal submissive, and I do think you are quieter than me. Like my Mercury is very active, and you have a Mercury sextile Uranus, sextile Mars. Like you have a more sextile Mercury, and I have a Mercury square Mars, so I'm more talkative than you, don't you think?
You're much more talkative than me. My communication style I describe as I'm a textrovert. I'm often quiet, like in person, but in text chat, I I can go crazy and be very talkative in text. It's
Yeah,
how I
you
met a lot of my closest friends. Honestly, I met a lot of them online through text-based communication. Like my closest friends, I actually met in the online video game EverQuest, and wound up moving in with them when my job went like my company shut down, the job market crashed, and they were like, "You should totally move to Austin. You can move in with us." They were pretty crazy back then too, but yeah, April and I were like, "Fuck it, why not?" And we moved in with these people that we had only ever met online in a game where we texted with them all the time. We chatted with AOL Instant Messenger, and when we decided to move in, we actually finally broke through and had some phone calls, and that was cool. And I later found out that she did run a background check on us through her friend in the FBI, which was very smart on her part. But Didn't know that when they made the offer, so it
Interesting.
was fun.
So I think some people think. Sorry, were you done?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject. Some people think that because I'm so hyper cerebral and you're very hyper cerebral, our marriage doesn't feel very romantic to some people, and I was wondering if you think it's romantic.
I think it is romantic because we're both sapiosexuals and demisexuals. So, like, what really makes me attracted to somebody is their brain. Like, I love somebody who's intelligent and funny and that I get along with, and all the other things. But like talking to you or working out problems with you is kind of like foreplay.
Oh my god.
Honestly, like playing games. When we're playing games like that, it's like this is the type of stuff that I love so much that it just makes my heart swell.
Oh. Yeah, we spent the first 9 months playing Upwards, a complex word game, and like that was how we fell in love was playing Upwards. But yeah, I mean, I think I do think so. Demisexual is a term for somebody who is attracted to somebody when they get to know them better, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so it's funny, like as far as the romance thing goes. Okay, so people with the wedding, my mom and dad are like, "Oh, it's going to be so romantic," and I was like, "Well, it will be a day where we produce a love type setting, and it looks like we will look as if we are in love on that day." Like as a producer, like things are very cerebral to me. I'm like, "Did we produce the story of being in love? Then we were in love." Like, and so some people find that to be aromantic because I am so cerebral, but I've just been, producing romantic elements for so long that I'm not tricked by a scene of with color correction and a storyline of romance between clowns. I mean, I do fall in love with every video that we make, but I think what's romantic here is the commitment to try and the like the notebook to me is very romantic in as much as it's the commitment to meld our paths together into one purpose. And that I think the fact that you don't make me like compete for your love, like you don't, even though you're so beautiful, you don't like make me compete with other people for you. You just give yourself wholly to me. To me, that's very romantic.
And same with you. Like I don't have to compete for your love. So it, it's sweet.
I love you.
I love you too. And
Yes.
y'all should have seen her when she read through the marriage ceremony. She got like misty eyed and was all like lovey dovey and like, oh, this is so awesome. This is so sweet.
Playing Magic the Gathering with you is very romantic.
It can be as you're beating me up.
Yeah. Well, we have 12 minutes. Is there anything else on your mind? I think that was all my questions. Or if anyone in the chat has a question, feel free. I know this is a weird marriage seems weirdly narcissistic to me where you're like, look at me, we're getting married, we're in love. But most of the time I'm doing like talk shows and things which have more content. This is more just about love. But I do think the storyline is interesting because of like the polyamory elements and the fact that we're both so martial and all these things. But what do you have on your mind? Anything else?
Uh, what do you think about the like? So my preference is that we do something like a hand fasting, and then we re-hand fast every year because I love the like repetition of that. I love that it's like an acknowledgement and it just builds on itself year over year. I've never really been a huge fan of the whole till death do us part kind of thing because people change, people grow, you know. My first marriage ended because we both changed in very different directions and we simply didn't work as a married couple anymore. But once we decided to get a divorce, like things were much better instantly. between us because we weren't trying to live up to this expectation of a marriage that we both knew wasn't working anymore. And we could just go back to being good friends. And so that made things a lot easier. And so what do you think about that? Are you okay with us not doing a till death do us part? Or do you want that in the ceremony?
Well, I guess that's been a part of my kind of beef with marriage is people have a lot of transits between here and death, right? And transits are transitions, right? So if you and I transition in such a way that us being married is toxic to either of us, then perhaps it would be best to change the structure to a friendship, or whatever, a situationship. I think, all that being said, I would like to aim to transition together through the
Sure.
use of the notebook so that we do find win-wins through all the transitions of spirit so that we do end up, dying together. Um, I also think for our daughter's sake that we should stay together. Not that we should stay together for the child only, but I do think that she would really benefit from us staying together.
I think so too. I think she's happy that we're together, and I think that the three of us help each other. So I think it's good for that. And yeah, I also agree. The notebook is a very like structured way for us to transit together and ensure that we are growing together instead of growing apart. And that will lead to us growing together for the rest of our lives. That's my expectation. That's what I believe. I just don't want to like make a solemn vow that that's what's going to happen, and then we're both staying together because of the vow if we hit a point where it's not the right thing for us.
Yeah, and I agree with the hand fasting. I like that we take it one turn of the sun, right? It's like let's be good to each other for this sun cycle as it moves around, and we do every little transit together. And also, I like the recommitment of just saying, let's try our best this year, and then, you know, commit to trying for another year. I think that that's a beautiful thing because it is a commitment, but it isn't saying, like if my schizophrenia goes off the chain and I'm unmedicatable and I'm hallucinating, like I do want you to go forward with your life and maybe let me be in care of a caregiver or something like that. I don't want you to ruin your life over that.
And same thing should some sort of accident or dementia befall me.
Well, if it really depends. I mean, I do think if something like dementia befalled you, I would take care. Well, it really depends. If it was something that you did purposefully, I think I would be more inclined to leave. If an accident befell you, I would probably stay and be with. I mean, I guess it's all things considered, and you really have to look at each case, right? We don't know.
Yeah, certainly. But like if you were to go completely crazy, have some sort of psychotic break, and need to be institutionalized for the rest of your life, I would still want to help care for you for the rest of your life, even if I were to then move on and find another partner. You
Mhm.
know, that makes sense.
Yeah, same with me. Like if you had a head injury or something like that, I would definitely go visit you like daily or maybe weekly or something.
Yeah,
Even if I found another partner to talk with, I would stay with you. I mean, that's part of polyamory that's beautiful. Is like you don't cut off things that are still beautiful. You might change the shape of them, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I can really unlove you at this point.
yeah. I don't think I could unlove you either. And I like what Patrick's saying. Narcissism is about everything, making everything about you, but sometimes things are about you. So it's okay to let the wedding be about us.
Okay.
We're not being narcissistic with that.
No, I truly never thought I would get married because most people couldn't get through my brainstem. I mean, I know I've got like long hair and I like have like perhaps the cute face of a girl, but like my brainstem is oppressive to people. But for some, But for some reason, you don't mind a talking doll. Like I'm like Chatty Cathy the talking doll, you know?
Yeah, you're you're just fun. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. I just have such a great time with you.
Yeah, you're so fun too. Well, one last question I have is what do you think about all the music in our house?
Oh, I love it. It, it's so cool. You're an amazing pianist, and I love getting serenaded with you playing whatever you're playing. And our daughter has a beautiful voice. When she sings, it's just an absolute treat. And now you've been learning the accordion, which is honestly one of my favorite instruments. Like my first musical love was Weird Al, who's an accordion player. He plays polkas. If you don't know that, you should learn about the Yankovics. But uh, I love it because it's so upbeat and happy.
Yeah.
And then like you can get on the piano and just like rip tears out of people with beautiful, like melancholic music. It's so fun. It's honestly, it's inspired me to try picking up a musical instrument again. So for Christmas, I got a chanter and I'm trying to learn the bagpipes.
Yay! Well, and I want to say that the music that you bring to our house is gaming. Like when you ran the D&D game for us and you were the best DM ever and you were just like I mean, I think gaming is one of your musics and it's like you play Magic with me, we play Upwards, you play uh Rummikub, we play Cribbage, we play all kinds of games and I think that is as joy bringing as the music, you know?
It is. We haven't played cribbage in a while. We should maybe do that soon.
Yeah.
We play Uno when we go out to music shows
Oh, that's true. We play Uno too. Yeah.
where we can't talk. We'll just sit there and play Uno.
We play lots of games. We played Magic the Gathering on our first date.
We did. You had
Yeah.
to test if I was smart enough to keep up.
I wanted to see how you played and how your mind worked and stuff like that. So, yeah.
It's a good test.
Thank you so much for doing this episode. I really people have a lot of misconceptions about you. They think that I control you and all these things, and I just wanted them to show the real us is like this was mostly Shane talking, you know. So,
If only they knew how much I controlled you. I'm the mastermind in the background. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
yeah, your song is Master of Puppets, and you know it.
It is.
All right. Well, any last things?
I got to go get ready for a date with some hot chick tonight. So it's been fun talking to you, but
I love you so much, sweetie. I cannot wait to marry you.
I love you too, baby. I can't wait to marry you either. It's going to
All
be
right.
great.
Thanks to everyone who's here today. All right. We'll see you later.
Everybody.
Bye.